Arkansas wide receiver Jalen Brown went down with a very gruesome looking leg injury in today's matchup against Notre Dame. He was in fact put on the cart and immediately taken to the hospital. We do have an update on this injury. Sources are now reporting that he did in fact suffer a broken tibia and fibula. Anytime it is believed that somebody has suffered a fracture to one or both of these bones in the lower leg, this is immediately a medical emergency because of a fracture type known as an open fracture. I'll go into more details on this in a moment, but anytime somebody suffers an open fracture, time is absolutely of the essence because it could potentially damage the neurovascular structures located in the leg and or predispose them to an infection. So with today's video, what we're going to do is first look at the injury replay, then we'll talk about the relevant anatomy, go over the fracture types, and what Jalen Brown should expect moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Gallo and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. And with my channel, I take a look at sports injuries and I try to explain them so that they are a little bit easier to understand. I'll also go over the pertinent anatomy for that specific injury and finally discuss what to expect in the rehab process. If you enjoy this sort of content and you would like to see more of it, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to this channel because I will be making more of these in the future regarding sports injuries, rehabilitation, and other physical therapy related content. Also, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those in the comment section below. Here's the injury replay, and as Jalen Brown is going to come down, he's going to land on that left leg, and we see it just buckle very awkwardly. The tibia and fibula bones are located in the lower leg or the leg portion that is below the knee joint. The tibia is the bone that is located right in through here. We often call this as the shin bone, but it's going to come down on the inside portion of the leg. As I flip the model more laterally or towards the outside, we have the fibula bone here. Those bones are going to come down from the knee and form either side of the ankle here. This one is the extension of the tibia bone. It's going to come down and form the inside portion of the ankle known as the medial malleolus. And on the outside here, that fibula is going to come down and form the outside portion of the bone known as the lateral malleolus. There are several types of fractures. So the first one is a non-displaced fracture. This is where somebody is going to get a fracture or a break in the bone, but the pieces are going to stay in optimal alignment. In a displaced fracture, we're going to get the opposite. So they're going to get a fracturing or a breaking of the bone, and those bones are just going to be malaligned or basically pulled out of proper alignment. Then we get into the category of whether or not it is a closed or open fracture. In an open fracture, and the one that is the worst case scenario, this is where that broken piece of bone is essentially going to pierce the skin. And then in a closed fracture, this is where we're getting the opposite. It is not going to pierce the skin. There are several reasons why an open fracture is considered the worst case scenario, and it is absolutely a medical emergency. So the first thing is that because the bone is actually piercing the skin, it is being exposed to the environment. So this will greatly increase somebody's chances of getting any sort of infection. Also, there are many important neurovascular structures that are located in the lower leg, and this includes blood vessels and nerves. So if you are getting an open fracture to the point where the bone is going to pierce the skin, there is a chance that it could damage the blood vessels and or the nerves as well. If this goes untreated or this is not something that's seen right away, this can absolutely result in any kind of permanent damage. So time, again, is of the essence in an injury like this. The fact that he was taken immediately to the hospital means that they had suspected this at the time of injury. At the time of me making this video, we do not know the specifics of the fracture type, but we do know that with the rapid response after this type of an injury, that was absolutely something at risk. After an injury like this, the person will immediately have some sort of imaging. It is usually an x-ray, and based on the injury replay, it looks like the bones had in fact broken right at that moment, but they're going to be confirmed with an x-ray. After this, what they're going to do is they're going to do more evaluation to make sure that none of those neurovascular structures are essentially damaged in this type of case. In any case of an open fracture, usually there is urgent and immediate surgery because what's going to happen is we need to essentially align those bones back together. This is usually done with an internal fixation, and this is essentially a way of saying what they're going to do is they're going to insert some hardware to essentially keep the bones in alignment so that it can heal properly. The wound will then be closed and it's going to be irrigated to prevent any complications of infection. So if we happen to get any more updates regarding this case, I'll be sure to update everybody in the comment section, because if these things also happen with this type of an injury, this is greatly going to impact the return to sport. So we'll be on the lookout for any update regarding this specific injury. We wish Jalen Brown the best of luck moving forward. We hope that it was not an open fracture, because anytime that happens, it requires a lot more intervention to prevent all of those issues that I discussed previously. And it can increase the chances of complications moving forward. So if I happen to hear any updates, I'll be sure to update everybody in the comment section. This will also give us the best snapshot as to what to expect in the physical therapy process moving forward. Anytime somebody is going to get any sort of internal fixation after a fracture like this, usually what's going to happen is we're going to see some sort of weight-bearing precautions, because at the time of surgery, we need to give that bone some time for it to heal properly. Depending on weight-bearing precautions, we can do a lot of exercises that are on the table versus doing anything standing. Obviously, standing exercises involve bearing weight through that extremity. But then once they reach about the 6 to 8 week mark, we can really start to work on range of motion and basically dial up the strengthening process. And then finally, after this, it's just a timeline to see about how fast they recover and when they finally do get the clearance from the surgeon. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for any updates in this case. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you enjoy this kind of content, I'm going to go ahead and link one of my playlists so that you can watch some of the injuries that I've discussed in the past. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.